I'm pleased to introduce Lori Klamner, a forest therapy guide based in New York City, who will uh, facilitate our discussion and guide our walk. So I turn it over to you, Lori.
Hi, everybody. I want to thank Coming of Age, and I want to thank Jeff. It was really lovely to hear somebody out of the blue send me an email and say, would you like to do a basically worldwide webinar? And it's just extremely, it just gives me great sense of well-being to share with people all over the place. I know people are here from California, and I know people are here from New York, and maybe even Europe, and all places in between. So I'm thanking you for taking the time, really giving yourselves the gift of time to go on a little guided mini retreat. So many of us would love to go on a retreat, but there are certain barriers, the barriers of time, of distance, and of money. Giving yourselves this time, and you will experience, the goal is to have a deeper connection with nature, and even no matter where you are and however nature presents itself to you today. A spin-off benefit is that you're going to love nature more and be directly concerned with protecting nature in whatever way it's present for you. And also you will feel better because there are physical, mental, emotional benefits to walking with a natural, with an eye to nature. And I actually really feel, I'm very glad that some people are outdoors, because I just want to mention that the more you walk on uneven pavement as we age, and even if some of my participants are not 50, they're much, much younger than 50, you are helping yourself so much by walking on uneven pavement, because it's going to teach your body to catch yourself from falls, and falls are the very, very dangerous things. So that's just one little physical health bit. But it is never necessary to have it be vigorous walking. In fact, it's slow, almost painfully slow sometimes. And it doesn't have to be even a walk. You could be sitting on a lounge chair in your own little garden or backyard, or on a park bench, or just right out of the parking lot in some giant national park that we have, that we're so fortunate to have here. So I'm going to say, we're going to start the real process of forest bathing in 2 minutes. If you are indoors, I'm going to ask you to go on a little treasure hunt now. And what you're looking for is things that you have that open your senses to nature. So if you are a rock collector or pine cone collector, if you have, for a scent, if you have aromatherapy, like this little jar of pine scented aromatherapy, or if you have tea, an herbal tea, or any kind of tea, or even coffee. We love the smell. Something to taste, chocolate bar, and a little piece of fruit, these things to help us awaken our senses. So even if you're inside, and also if you are, have a window that you can look outside at, that's going to be the link to nature for you. Everybody else, while that's going on, we'll give it a minute or two. We're going to just find ourselves wherever we are, comfortable place to be for a bit of time. So we're going to have a first seated or lying down or leaning against a tree, or just wherever you are comfortably and restfully. And go ahead and find that place. If you have brought a mat with you or a towel or blanket, just stretch out and make yourself comfortable. And if you're indoors, find your couch or your chair, even your bed, or lay on the ground. So we'll just let everybody be for just a minute, and then we're going to get into the real body of this. And again, thank you all for coming, and everybody who wasn't here in the very beginning. I'm Lori, and that's Jeff.
And we're gathering various things that remind us of nature. If we have herbs
Oh,
and
nutmeg. Mhm.
spices, or like a pine cone. I have a seashell, or
I have a
you
piece of
know,
mushroom,
yeah,
dried
or if you
mushroom.
or a piece of fruit.
If you don't
So
have
so
anything like
we're
that, hmm,
yeah, so we're
just
quietly
being
doing.
near wooden furniture as opposed to plastic, you know, okay. I think we can, I don't know, here we go. All right, so um, I'm gonna just go ahead and say that most of you have never done forest bathing. Uh, meditation, some of, a lot of people in this group have done it a few times and or many, many times. And if you are a hiking, a walking lover, yes, most of you, 70% are. And like I said before, the goal is really to just give us all the time to find our space, to sit, to get comfortable. And now we can go ahead into the body. You ready? Ready.
Okay.
Thank you, Alana. As you look at the video, later on, I'm going to say it's better to actually turn just put your phones or your computers down for a little while. And when we do the different sections, which are called invitations, um, if you've gone off, keep your Zoom running, but you don't have to be with it because there's not going to be anything to see or listen to. I'll call you back with the sound of Om, like as if we were in a yoga class. I'll do an Om. I was going to do beautiful chimes, but Zoom blocks that sound. So it's going to have to be my voice. I apologize. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So this is an introduction to forest bathing my style. You can go to another forest bathing walk and it might be very, very different. I call it American style. We borrow from all the different cultures. We're multicultural, and we also make up our own modern ideas, and also from wellness and modern psychology. We want to have the feelings of awe, of gratitude, of happiness. We want to let our minds, our thinking brains, our monkey brains, what I call the to-do list brain, take a break. And we want to be able to really focus on the things that are coming up where we are in the nature, wherever we are, at home or in a park or wherever you are. So your brain might go all over the place and not be like focused on one thing. It's not work. We're not taking a test, but we are just, if you're walking along and you're going, oh, I love the trees, I'm looking at the trees, how green everything is, and then all of a sudden a bird flies by, yes, go with the bird then, if that's what's interesting to you. Or feeling something on your feet and then all of a sudden you feel it's like a little uncomfortable. Don't try to push anything away. Go with it. Go with the flow. So in a nutshell, I try to really make it very, very simple. There's three things that we do in forest bathing. And the first one is to slow down. And we'll give you some tools on how to slow down, how to walk slowly, how to even sit slowly. I wrote use all your senses, but it's really allow your senses to soak in the essence of the forest. Allow your being to be open to all this. And the less you do, the more will come. And less is really more. And then the third thing, which is maybe the most important thing, is how do you feel? How are you feeling? So we're just going to slow down if we're walking. We'll do a breathing kind of walk, and you'll feel the ground through your feet, and you'll be touching and seeing and hearing and maybe smelling or tasting. Then you will be passively experiencing the air, maybe the temperature, if you're feeling sun or not. And after a moment, you'll say to yourself, how do I feel? Walk a little bit more, notice a few more things, or stay still and just be there, stillness. How does that feel? Sometimes it's hard to just be still. So focus is hard. And I wanted to say, no matter where we are there. And so we are here. I hope you found a nice place. All right, so let's go to the next slide. Oops, the other one, the pleasures of presence. One back. There, whoop, that one. So I took my course through Association of Nature and Forest Therapy, ANFT. And this is how we have these, I call them sections, but they're not really activities, and they're all invitations. And that means that you were invited to translate the words that I'm saying any way that you want. And you're invited also to just go off and do whatever else you want. We start with this guided meditation to allow the body and mind to enter space for mind wandering and focusing on the place that you are and all that is natural around you. And it's different from some meditations because you're trying to quiet the to-do list mind and open up to the feeling mind and all the sensations. So if you're thinking right now, well, I'm at work, or I have my kids after this, or I have, to do this or to that, I like to start by doing a physical, I invite you to physically unzip from the uniform that we wear so that you can actually viscerally be closer to that natural state. Like we're swimming in the womb. We don't know what's out there. It's all sensation. And have your be in your comfortable place and notice how your body feels. Start with your feet, where you're sitting, if your legs are on the ground, if your back is on a chair. Sink, sink, sink. Take a deep breath in. And as you let it out, you'll weigh more. Breathe in, breathe out. You might want to move your arms in the air. So make a big circle with your arms, or maybe as you breathe in, reach up to the sky. As you breathe out, send your breath down to the earth. If that feels right for you. And focus takes practice. So if you notice that you are going off to that to-do list, just go back to your breath and the sensations. So you're passively experiencing whatever's going on. And if your eyes are open, I invite you to close your eyes. We're going to be here for 5 minutes. Anytime you want to open your eyes or have them a little bit open, you are welcome to do that. You might want to just feel your hand on your chest. It reassures you that you're still breathing. And noticing the body, the back of your body, the back of your head, the bottoms of your feet. And you might want to even move your arms against the ground, or if you're sitting against a tree or on a chair, on a couch, just let your arms, the skin of your arms, move against that surface. And if there's grass around you or leaves, gently touch that as if you were petting a dog or a cat. And I imagine that when you pet a dog or a cat, you know, they push back into your hands. They love it when you pet them. And the earth or your couch or the leaf that you're touching may be pushing back into your hand or your skin. Breathe. Sometimes we feel a little uncomfortable. We're like, oh, I better check my phone. That comfort, that sense of that urgent, weird uncomfortableness is welcome in forest bathing. And it's called an edge. You have an edge. Oh, what if there's a spider, you know? What if it starts to rain? How does that feel? Remember that you're doing these 3 steps, slowing down, noticing, using all your senses, allowing your senses to give you all that information. And then 3, how does that feel? So with the eyes closed, all the other senses may be heightened. What is going on with your sense of hearing right now? What is happening? Maybe you hear a lot of birds, or the rustling of wind, or other people walking by. You may hear children, airplanes and sirens. So focusing on the listening, even listening to the tree that you're leaning against, or listening to the ground. You can put your ear right on the ground. Even your own breathing makes a sound. And what about your sense of smell? So if you're indoors, now is the time to reach for your tea or your herbs or your piece of fruit. Just maybe pinch it with your fingers and bring your fingers to your nose. And if you're outside, you can try that with the grass or a leaf or even the bark of a tree or the flowers that you may be sitting with. Maybe they have a very, very strong fragrance, or maybe just it smells like earth. The air before the rain, or the dry, dry air. The smell of your own house. Noticing that what it feels like, what it smells like, what it sounds like out there. The senses can kind of overlap, and they can be bringing you to memories. So being still or moving very, very slowly, feeling your breath, noticing and allowing your senses to soak in all of these sensations, the information. And then thirdly, how do you feel? And I'm not going to talk for another minute and let you do that you're on your own. If you're uncomfortable in your position, please know that you can move. Maybe turn onto your belly if you're laying on the ground, or face a different direction. If your back is to the sun, maybe you want your face to the sun. If you're looking out the window now indoors, maybe you want to look at something in your room that you really like. Even facing it with your eyes closed. So I'm going to call the sound of Om. Om. And I invite you to say one Om. Om. And if you would like to, if you're sitting, come to your knees or stand. Open your eyes when you're ready. Move around a little bit. Maybe you're feeling a little stiff. You want to sway. Do a little check-in with your body from the feet to the head. Is there any place where you would like to even to touch it, shoulder pain or a knee, or just give yourself a hug? And I open up, Jeff, I'm putting you to work now. Open up for anybody who would like to share. And the prompt is, what are you noticing? And you can share verbally or with a gesture or any way that you would like. You can, I don't know, is it good to just do raise hand for sharing, or just jump in? Jeff, he says 1 second. I think that's what he says.
I was muted. Yeah, just feel free to unmute yourself and jump in. If you're having trouble unmuting, just type in the chat and I will see it. Karen.
Good afternoon. I would love to do this outside. Maybe I'll move my computer outside for the next one. Because it seems like it would be nicer to do it outside. I liked what you said about the unzip the uniform, like the persona that the face that's all fine that we carry around in the world, that everything is all fine. And then you lie down and you're like, oh, this hurts. Oh, this hurts. Oh, this hurts. I want to move this. So yeah. So how did I feel? Like, I don't know if your question was, how do I feel emotionally or how do I feel physically? I wasn't clear on that.
It's all open. But thank you for that. You get a gold star for being the first person to share, Karen. Thank you very much. And there'll be many more chances to share, so.
I enjoyed smelling an herb. I just love the smell of nutmeg. And I've kept these remember these tin things from when you were a kid? I keep them because they really preserve the spice well.
Thank you for sharing.
I'm noticing just how nice it felt to relax. I came outside and leaned against a big oak tree that's behind me and really enjoyed that. And also, Lori, when you mentioned like laying down on the earth, I was like, ooh, I haven't done that in a long time. So I did and enjoyed it.
I'm sorry, can I ask a totally not related question? Alana, you're not from Newton, Massachusetts, right?
No, I have some extended family there, but I'm not.
Okay, because I know somebody with your same name from here. Anyway,
Thanks, Alana. I noticed that I surrounded myself with these plants. Shout out to my plants for being in the video. And I was like letting my hair and my skin touch them. And I noticed that I have a preference for the sense of touch. You know, I love all the senses, but the touch one is like, I'm the kid in the toy store that's, touching everything.
I didn't notice how stiff I got until you invited us to stand up. And I was like, oh, I've been sitting a while. It'd be nice to stretch and limber up. And that
Thank,
felt good. Yeah.
thank you. So I think are we good with sharing? And also you can share with a gesture.
Well, I would like to share that I did give in to looking at my phone once, but once I said no, this is not the time. I can do that later. I closed my eyes, and I'm indoors, so I am an outdoor person. But I just looked at my email like 2 minutes before we got on, so I was able to relax myself, but I'm imagining being out in the park, maybe near a tree with my shoes off, just enjoying the feel of it. So I thought about that. That made me feel better. Then when you said to imagine something, I did imagine myself on the beach, just listening to the waves and feeling the breeze. So that was great. Thank you.
Thank you. Or can we unmute Felicia?
Oh, yes.
There you are.
Can you hear
Thank
me
you.
now?
Yes.
Hi, I am actually in my backyard. I plan to go out to a more forestry area, but I didn't have time. And guess what? I turned in different directions from in my backyard. I have a tree, so that was wonderful. And I turned another direction, and my neighbor has a tree. And then I turned and saw houses. So from every direction, I had a different view just from the backyard, at least 4 or 5 different places in this one place.
Yes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I love this feeling of community, like that's amazing. That's the only good thing, the freaking only good thing about the pandemic.
Oh, and Ruth wrote to me that she liked the smell of her mint plant leaves. So that's great when you can grow herbs at home.
Yes. All right. Any more shares? And again, there'll be more time to share, and you can always go back to something you wish you had said later on. But let's go to the next invitation, unless anybody else wants to.
Okay.
I think we're good. Okay. So it is called a forest bathing walk, not just to sit around. So this slide is the invitation to walk slowly. I'm going to be sitting down just so I'm not distracting, but if you would like to stand up, you don't have to have the screen on, or you can just have the phone, or whatever you're walking around the computer, just leave it. You don't need to look at anything. How do you walk slowly? Well, it starts, some people can walk slowly, but most of us are just rushing all the time. So it starts with the breath. The more steps, the more breaths you take between each step, basically the slower you're walking, right? So you don't want to feel like you're short of breath. You also have to, if you're walking up a hill, you may need to breathe more. Some people do a lot of counting, like 1, 2, 3, 4, breathe, but it's what's good for you. So for right now, just try to take one step on your inhale and the next with your exhale. Don't think about the stepping, think about the breathing. Coordinate with how much you need to be breathing. Otherwise, you may be breathing rapidly and it will be uncomfortable. And then after a while, maybe it will be an inhale. Maybe it will be 2 or 3 steps for each inhale and exhale, or maybe it will be the opposite. 1 step, 2 or 3 inhales. So you're barely moving at all, and you're looking, touching, smelling. Hopefully there's no poison ivy or thistle or anything that's sharp, that will give you a rash where you're walking. So you're really in your invitation to touch everything around you. If you're not sure, then leave it. And feel through your feet. And if you're in a place where you can take off your shoes and socks, that feels really nice. And, looking up as high and far away as you can look, depending on where you are now, leaves on trees and shrubs may be changing color, or there may be a lot of bare branches, so you're going to see more like the structure and the shape of things. Noticing the different barks that are on all these different trees. Some are very smooth, some are, flaky, some are very brown, some have moss on them, so they have green. And if you want to, you can actually get down and smell the earth or pinch leaves like, I forget who it was who said that. I think Ruth in the chat. Pinching the leaves releases their aromatic essence. So then you can smell it on your fingers. Some things have not such a great smell, but it's just interesting to learn. And then again, so we're doing slowing down and walking, or you don't even have to, you could be sitting. And when you're indoors, you're going to be looking at the living things in your house or in your room. And then also the walls, feel the rug or the hard floor, if it's cool, all those different things. So walking and absorbing the surroundings, as much of the natural surroundings. And so we've slowed down, we've used allowing our senses to be open to all that information from the natural world, maybe animals. And then how do you feel? All right, so I'm looking at the clock, so you don't have to. If you find your brain going back to the to-do list, try to focus back on the thing that's right in front of you in the here and now. And even by calling it something, green plant. I don't know your name, but you look like a shrub, or other words for shrub, bush, all these different things. And that helps you go back to being present, because humans use words. So that's our nature. So go ahead. So this is the invitation to walk slowly And we'll do this for, we are really good with time, so we're going to do this for like 6 minutes. And I will call you back with the sound of Om. Invitation to walk slowly, however that connects with you right now.
I'm doing a forest bath online. She didn't even bark. She didn't even bark. Okay.
Stop working on it.
Huh?
Stop working on it.
Probably money.
If everybody wants to Om also, we can all take a breath. Om together. Om. One more time and do the part in the Om. So I hope everybody's back. Doing a group share again. And now if you're standing and you want to keep on standing, I invite you to share in whatever way you want. How are you feeling? What are you noticing? And any other thing that you would like to say or do. That's legal.
So I'm gonna go first if that's okay again. Oh, unless Mimi's gonna go. Sorry. So I came outside. I have falling acorns. I like feel like I need a bicycle helmet so I don't get hit on the head. And and this was harder. Walking slower was harder because then I realized I don't know what the outside of your shin is, but it made me say I need to get this to massage. Anyway.
Thank you for sharing. And I'm glad that you got outside. There used to be, we used to get a news, like a magazine called Your Big Backyard. It was like a National Geographic for kids. Anyway, we've been into the outdoors, my family, forever and ever. So that reminded me because I don't have a backyard. I'm on the street that has trees. And, so there's a barrier for me to go outside. I have to go to a little place populated by a lot of people. I live in Manhattan, but I'm close enough to the parks, like Riverside and Central Park. And I just really make it a habit to go through the park. And also there are even benches on Broadway near where I live. And I'm so grateful for the city for making a really big effort to keep areas green. And the green, there's a chemical that's emitted by plants, the leaves. So especially in the wintertime, pine is really important, pine trees, because they still have their leaves and they're emitting a chemical. It's not for humans. It's not for us. It's for them. It helps for their immunity, but we are benefiting from it also. So it's very, very helpful for a lot of reasons to have plants in your home and also to be around plants.
When I was walking, I caught myself because I was not slowing down. I had to remind myself to slow down, walk more slowly. A long time ago, I had probably placed a pit of something into my planter with another plant. And there's an app that identifies plants, and it said that this was an avocado tree. I don't remember, maybe I put in an avocado pit, but it looks like, and I just enjoyed walking past it and touching the leaves. It pretty much took over that planter. And you know, it's really nice to walk past, to have plants in the house.
Thank you. Do people want to share where they are, even without your camera on? I see Janice is still walking. I unmute. Can we unmute Janice? Or does she have to do it herself? All right, maybe we have to.
I got it.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I live in the country, so I'm outdoors a lot. I'm in nature a lot, and I'm still fascinated by it. I picked up these little dead branches with lichens on them while I was walking around, and I've always loved nature. I'm 83 years old and still enjoying it.
Where's the country? What you mean? What do you mean?
In Kentucky, not in town, not in the suburbs, but out in the country. I live in the country.
In where is it?
Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky. Oh, wow.
The mosquitoes are the only unpleasant thing right now.
Yeah. That's why you keep walking, because as you move, they don't land on you so much when you're moving, right?
Well, I've got several bites and I'm about ready to go back in. So so we enjoy our quietness and our solitude and neighbors when we see them. It's just a pleasant place to live. So it was interesting to hear you all and listen to your comments.
Well, that's great. I want to say, when you hear the word forest walk anywhere, if you see it come up in your neighborhood, in your area, and you want to go to one, they're usually not rigorous walks. I had one last night in Central Park that a woman with a walker came on. And it was one of those kind of walkers that's you could do on a bumpy ground, but not.
Oh, yeah.
She just said, I have to do hills slowly. Other than that, she was really great. You know, sometimes I've had people come that really should bring a walking device like a cane or something.
Yeah.
You know, so you always rely on your props, but yeah. So I'm saying this to everybody here. If you are interested in doing a forest bathing walk in an outdoor place with a group, I would just Google it, you know, good old Google in your area, because there probably are forest bathing guides that are promoting or, you know, advertising their walks. You know, Washington, D.C. area, Alana, who was on before, is a very, very, very gifted person. And I think she's doing a series of walks this weekend for the autumn equinox. And here in New York, there are a bunch. And, you know, you just can put it in a search and, you know,
And
we had one more invitation and I'll just say it out loud. Oh, Alana wants to come back in. Okay. Hi, Alana. It's so funny to like not be on the internet, not be doing the technology, and then still have to notice like what's in the chat and things like that. Alana, I just gave you a shout out about your upcoming walks. I think that, yeah, let's do it. let's do an invitation, and we'll have less time to share afterwards, possibly, because it's really supposed to end after the 15 minutes after. But we have 5 or so minutes to do another, more than 5 minutes to do this. So I opened my shades, my blinds, so that I could look out the window. When I was during the lockdown, I was doing a yoga class online. I had been following this yoga instructor in person for a long time. She's really, really wonderful. And she told a story, and my invitations often have a story, so I'll try to be very brief. The story is that during the lockdown, she found on the internet that somebody had made up the Cloud Appreciation Club. It was just a made up thing because, people were just sitting around with nothing to do. And on a positive note, these people were like, let's all be in the Cloud Appreciation Club. We'll lay outside and we'll look at the sky and we'll just be that. And I did it on one of my first walks. And the people were replying like, I don't know the last time I just laid and looked at the clouds. When you were a child, you probably did this. And you were like, it's a dog, it's a sheep, it's, a dragon, and all this imaginary and fun, playful things. When we do forest bathing, we do want to tap into our childlike quality of curiosity and wonderment, and the simple things like just knocking 2 sticks together to make a noise. I don't know if you guys heard when we were in the last invitation, the walking slowly, that I was rattling my honey locust seeds. If I was walking, I would be wanting to walk in those crunchy leaves and make noise. Because jump in a pile of leaves, those kind of things that we were abandoning our reasonable selves and doing for fun. That's what that's what the joining the Cloud Appreciation Club is. It's like a metaphor for all the silly little things that you may want to do. The next club I really want to join is Eat All the Chocolate Ice Cream That You Want Club. So the invitation is just find a comfortable place to sit or lie down and look at the sky. Notice the outlines, the texture, the depth. What will come through after you've looked for a minute or two is you'll see a lot more. Again, the less you do, the more you'll get. And if you want to do an embodiment, you can, reach your arm up and kind of trace outlines or do movement. And if you don't want to do it with your arms or your hands, you can just simply do with your eyes. And I'll call you back in like a little under 10 minutes. So the invitation, I hope I don't lose people, but if I do, thank you so much. It's been so wonderful. Keep in touch. I'm on Instagram at Woods Walking NYC, and I'll continue to communicate with Jeff. And if anybody has any questions or wants to continue with discussions, woodswalkingnyc@gmail is my email. And I'll put it in the chat. But right now, I invite you to go find a comfortable place to just look at the sky, whatever that means to you. And I'll call you back with the sound of the Om.
Before I do this, could I ask Janice a question?
Okay.
Do you live near Florence, Kentucky?
Yes, it's about probably 40-minute drive from here.
Oh, you're so lucky because my brother's there, and all it is nature and horses and everything you would want in a natural place. It's very
Some
lucky.
of my family.
Yeah, and then I've never been on a Zoom. I used to live in Newton Corner. I mean, there's like so many relationships here. That's all I wanted to say.
Come on.
Okay, we'll have more time to talk at the end. So go ahead and find your Cloud Appreciation Club.
There you go.
Ugh.
Hey, I was keep trying to get off the lawnmower. Why? You got a fasten on that thing like I never got off. What was holding you? Uh-huh. What was holding you? I couldn't get my knees to work. Couldn't get my legs to work. That fastening between the dash and the seat. Couldn't go neither way with the knee. Finally had to grit my teeth and all right. Where were you, out here? No, barn after I done parked it now, man. I couldn't get off of it. Right. Pitiful.
Like Phil, that carries us into the weekend, and we change it up in a big way. We're gonna knock.
All right. How are we feeling? What are we noticing? Oh, go
And-
ahead. Karen?
Yeah,
I'm-
I'm trying. I said I felt more curious. Like I sort of, well, two things. One is I felt like an invitation to be silly. So I was sort of crawling around on my little deck here, crawling around after these acorns. And I kind of felt like I was touching them more and more curious about, they were wet, they were smooth, they were, I don't know. I guess I was just noticing. I was doing the homework assignment. Yeah, I didn't, not unintentionally though. I mean, I didn't like say, "Oh, this is the homework assignment." It's not homework.
Exactly. Thank you.
But I do have a little question. So I actually work at an apple orchard in the fall, and I'm going up and down hills all the time. And so I guess what you're sort of saying is to sort of, I mean, obviously there's going to be kids and there's going to be crowds and there's going to be, but like to just pay more attention to the smell of things or the colors or the sky, or just pay more attention. Right? Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And also, where does that go to for you? Have we ever gone apple picking ourselves as children, or we love the taste of apples, or all the things we love about apple pie, or this, all of those things. So you don't have to hold yourself to anything. If you're
Right.
going off on a tangent like peach gathering, or nothing to do with apples, just when it gets into that, oh, but the downward spiral of worrying about things, oh, but nature is under threat, just go back to the regular being in the present, at least for that moment. Let's be activists. Let's turn ourselves into loving, caring people who help others and want to save the planet and do stuff about it. But right now, when we're in our bodies, you're allowed to be there.
Yeah, the only thing that was some of the thing that was going on the other day was there were so many people that spoke Spanish around me, and I was like very frustrated that I couldn't speak Spanish. But other than that, that's not here nor there. But that's just what happened. Anyway, it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions or more? Anything else to share? How you're feeling?
I feel relaxed, but I would say that where I am, there weren't really the puffy kinds of clouds that you could trace with your hand. There were those like streaky clouds kind of thing that are really high up.
Yeah, we're in the
So I
same.
tried to trace them. Yeah.
It was more, but there was so much movement, because it's getting grayer, and then it was sunny. Like when I came back from looking out my window, I had to close my eyes for a second because it was like I was blinded by the light.
Actually, while I was out walking, I took a picture of the clouds. So I just sat in the house away from the mosquitoes and looked at it.
Late because I live in a small apartment and every window looks out on bricks. Stray cats and garbage. So it's a little hard to relate.
Thank you. Not everything
Right.
works for everything. That's actually a word, an expression that we have in the forest bathing educational world that I did this course in, is we say, you catch the invitations from the forest. So yeah, that you wouldn't do that at night. You wouldn't do cloud appreciation as an invitation at night. You might look at the stars, or you might, it depends, the weather. If it's very, very hot.
Yeah, there's not even any stars. It's such light pollution. It's amazing. You can't, but full moons and sunsets are really nice.
Yeah.
Is there a website you post this or somewhere like
on the Instagram, Woods Walking NYC, but also, like I said, you can just Google it, Woods forest bathing in New York area, and not that many public walks actually. Invite your friends and do a few of these invitations, or make up your own, whatever's expressing itself in your nature that day where you are. You know, you could, if you had a bunch of kids and you were on a hill, you could say, the invitation is to roll down the hill. That would be great. The invitation is to gather acorns and, you know, make an art project, an ephemeral art project with them. You know, and even could be an invitation to write a poem or just, you know, use some expressive terms. And yeah, we haven't done those, but
Oh,
you know,
great.
a whole bag full of invitations. All right, we're over time.
Well,
So
thank you, Lori. This
thank
was
you.
wonderful. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And everyone from all over the country is welcome to join us here at our coming of age events. We are a national program.